Hello and welcome. This is Theresa and welcome to my channel. I'm just checking the technology right now and everything looks good. Let's move some stuff out of my way and take a drink before I get a tickly throat. And I think we're ready. All right, yesterday you may remember that I did several of these panels on mixed media paper, and I just had some mixed media fun with gesso and acrylic paints and different things like that. So today I wanted to show you what I've made with those items so far. This was one panel that I made. I was shooting for collage fodder. So these are like, I'd say half doodle and half just mixed media fun. I don't know what you would call that because there's some sewing on there. And anyways, this will be collage fodder, I guess. Yeah, because you would take something like this and put it on a collage page. So these were on another panel, and I did that with that gold gouache paint, and so it looked more like dandelion to me, you know. That's the best I can think. And so I had a little fun with decorating those, and they'll make excellent collage fodder. And then this was the solid, what was this? This was like a solid gold one too. And so I used my daisy Stampin' Up! Punch to cut out these daisy die cuts. And then I had some of these from my old Stampin' Up! Days that I put on here. This has a little piece of lace attached to it, and this is another embellishment from my Stampin' Up! Days. So I made 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. And then we still have some panels that something could be done with. Now, one of the things that I like to do with this sort of thing is I like to just tear it in half. And then I just have a wonky pocket, kind of like, for that sort of thing. So I could, you know, make it a little bit more crazy by maybe tearing off a corner like that and tearing around like this. And then we've got quite the wonky pocket there. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, this one, you remember this one. I just did the 3 flowers. And something has occurred to me recently about journaling. So actually writing in your journal. And what has occurred to me is that whenever you're doing a project like this, it's kind of fun to journal on something like this. Now, sometimes it might show and sometimes it might not. This one, I did write on it a little bit, and it says a keyed car, C-A-R. So this is kind of my Picasso that I made. And I took a sharp item and I put a lot of scrapes down through it. don't know if the camera's picking them up. I think it is a little bit. And I looked at that and I thought to myself, that's a keyed car. And so I titled it. Now you can't really see the writing on there, but it's still kind of fun. As to what I might do with that, might be a cool decoration in a journal. I don't know. It's just an idea. And then, so anyways, I first started journaling like this on my Ephemerimber journal. And I got the idea from Louisa Heinzel. And on one of my Ephemerimber pages, I wrote out the whole Ephemerimber song. And it took up about 1.5 pages. I did it with a white gel marker, and it was just a lot of fun. And so then recently in my Junk Journal January journal, there was a prompt about writing or something. Write a letter to yourself, or I don't remember what it was. But I did the same thing, and it was a maker's letter. So I pulled up a maker's letter and I wrote it all on that page for my Junk Journal January. And so then this one, I thought, well, I want to do the same thing. So I chose a poem, and it was two roads diverged in a yellow wood. That's just the first line. I don't remember what the title was. Would have been nice if I would have put the title there. And what happened is sometimes I didn't have enough room, but it doesn't matter. I just went to the next line of the poem, because this isn't actually supposed to be, so somebody can take a look at this and read the poem. This is my journal, and A, I'm not going to go back and read this most likely, and B, it was just something fun because I read the poem and I wrote it and I had fun. And so then I just put down by Robert Frost down here. But it's fun. It uses up the white space, and I got some journaling done, and that just made me feel good. And that's what junk journaling is all about. So I hope everyone's doing well today, and I do hope that if you're inspired, you'll go ahead and hit that like button. And I'd love to chat with you either in the live chat or in the comments. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd be very honored if you made that decision to subscribe to my channel. And for those of you who aren't subscribed and have no desire to do so, but enjoy coming back to see my videos, thank you very much. You are appreciated as well. This one might be just another fun opportunity to just tear it in half and use it as a wonky pocket. I don't know, but I'm going to save these 2 cards and just put them in my I'll probably put them in my ready-made ephemera. Maybe not. Maybe I'll put it in my to-do basket. Yeah. That's what I'll do. I'll put it in my to-do basket. So I don't think I want to put my flowers in there. I think I want to put my flowers in here. And it says coins, but there are also pieces of collage fodder in here, as you can see. I really like this heart. And I really like this mushroom too. We're gonna have to start using some of this stuff. It's getting full in here. So yeah, I'll just put all of these in here. And that goes in there. And then this will go in. Well, I could finish those. And what about these? Do I want to consider these finished? Maybe not. Let's just put them in here for now. And this one, I think I want to finish these and put them in my pre-made ephemera. So I'm simply going to ink the edges. I don't want that white. Hubby's baking pork chops for dinner tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Got an update on the baby. So my new granddaughter was born about 2 weeks ago. She is still in the NICU. And my daughter's starting to get frustrated because she doesn't see, oh, these would look good sewn too. I'm going to sew these. She doesn't see a reasonable explanation for the baby not being sent home. So it's a long story, but she and I talked it through, and I gave her an idea for some questions to ask to help the so-called professionals think through the situation more. And I told her to contact her pediatrician because supposedly her pediatrician is not looking at the baby because he doesn't have rights at that hospital, which is typical. My husband said, well, why doesn't he have rights at the hospital? I'm like, I don't know why she delivered at one hospital and her pediatrician has rights at another hospital. And you know, I don't ask those questions because sometimes when you ask those types of questions, it comes out like, why are you so stupidly doing this that way? And you know, I'm sure there's a legitimate reason, and it's none of my business. So I don't want to sound critical. I'm just looking forward to the baby coming home. Yeah, I asked her, okay, so to make it sound a little bit more reasonable, what I'm saying, because I know there are a lot of nurses who do junk journaling. I'm always amazed at how many nurses there are. But, for instance, I told her, I said, did you ask if the baby was tongue-tied? And she said, yes, I did. And she said, when I asked, they said, we're not there yet. I'm like, okay, that was an arrogant answer. And yes, we are there. And you don't have to be a doctor to be able to speak from experience. I have 6 children and lots of grandchildren. And so when my son was born, he was tongue-tied. They discovered it right away and took care of it, like day 1. Might have been day 2 or 3, but I'm pretty sure it was day 1. And took care of it, and it was all good. My daughter-in-law, baby, who is now about 5 years old, maybe 6, she was tongue-tied, and her experience was recent enough where she can remember even more than I can. And when they fixed Julia for her being tongue-tied, she nursed a lot better. So even though I'm not a nurse or a doctor, and my daughter-in-law's not a nurse or a doctor, we've had babies and we've had advice and experiences from the nurses and or doctors that were involved in our child's care. So I was like, yeah, you need to get that one figured out. But I'm encouraging her to go to her pediatrician, have the questions written down, ask her pediatrician, and see if her pediatrician can intervene for her. Because while I'm not afraid of people, I am afraid of what my insistency can cause, because sometimes people who don't always make good decisions can cause some grief in your life. I was thinking of a label here, and I'm going to show you. I did follow I Totally Love It, Susan's idea for some of my labels. So I said, try your pediatrician. If that doesn't work, can't remember which book I put it in though. I told her I said, talk to your OB, and if that doesn't help, I said, get yourself a patient advocate. I can't remember where I did it at. Well, wait a minute. I got an idea. Oh, I think I remember. I put it by my big ephemera book. That makes sense. So this is for my labels. Yeah, something like that will look great. And I've had to do that before. When one of my daughters was in the hospital and she was septic, at one point they were going to do a treatment for her that involved potassium, I think. Don't quote me. It was a long time ago. But anyways, it was something that if she needed something, she was going to need it right away. And so they transferred her to the intensive care unit. And in the meantime, she was supposed to get like potassium every 2 hours or 3 hours or whenever. So when I went to visit her, I walked in the room and her boyfriend was there. And I asked, did Ashley get her potassium or whatever it was? And he said, no, I've been asking and they said no. And I said, well, you know, what time was she supposed to get it? And he told me, and I was like, yeah, and it's like an hour past that or something. And they told us that she has to have that on time. So when I say they, her doctor. So I started asking questions, and all I did was ask questions. And I can tell you, I know when I have an attitude. I did not ask with an attitude. And her boyfriend at the time was just one of the most polite guys. And I know he didn't cop an attitude with the nurse. So at one point the nurse looked at me and she said, how did she say it? She said, I'm feeling something that had to do with danger, but she didn't say I'm feeling in danger. I'm feeling attacked. I don't remember. All I remember is that it was something that I just blinked my eyes and went, huh? What, you think I'm going to have a throwdown right here in the intensive care unit when I'm not even yelling or anything? Trust me, lady, you'll know it when I'm yelling and being mean. But I didn't say that. I promise I didn't say that. So anyways, I did have to get a patient advocate and get a patient advocate involved, and it did help. I still felt like, you know, there was a bit of a conspiracy, for lack of better thing to say, where, you know, they're just like, okay, this lady is taking it up a notch. We're going to have to mind our P's and Q's and